my set to get money pass me for my seat. Give me cut like Loki. Achievement all over the world. Stop on. If you do, oh yeah, go.
Yo, what's good YouTube? It's your boy Kawan, and today we're going to be talking about how to study in the US if you're African. That's right, African. Let's be real, you've probably watched 100 of these videos having the same questions. They've answered none of your questions. You have no help and you're left feeling like a bucket. So no longer. I'm going to make this as simple as possible to try to answer all your questions and make your dreams a reality. So let's get right into it. So firstly, a bit about myself. My name is Amari Kawan Parker Muti. I'm Zambian as well as American. I've been studying in the US for about 3 years now. Yeah, time is flying. But yeah, studying in the US for about 3 years, studying international business and finance, soon to be an entrepreneur, business owner, all that, humble beginnings and all that. Yeah, so I feel like I have enough experience to advise most people on how the process works and how to, get into a school in the States. So yeah, let's begin. Number one, you gotta decide why you want to study in the States. What's your reason? Do you want to go for school, better opportunities, work, job, whatever, become a rapper, whatever? All right, this will determine how your experience is throughout, you know what I mean? If you're going for school, great. At school, you gotta decide, okay, what schools are the best in the US? What majors are the best in the US? What do I really want to study? You know what I mean? So yeah, you gotta think about all that. Write it down, memorize it, get it locked in here, lock in. And if your response to the first question, do you want to go to the USA, is no, then why are you here, bro? Why are you watching this video? This is not for you. You should be somewhere else.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here.
If your answer is yes, then great news. You've answered the first question, then on to the next. Number two is you're gonna wanna understand the process. You're gonna wanna pick a major for that school of what you're gonna study. You're gonna wanna pick the school that supports that major. The last thing you wanna do is go to a school that does not have that program or a pretty crappy program. But I can't stress this enough. Don't just look at the major that you're looking at in the school. You kind of want to look at where the school is, what's surrounding the school. A lot of these schools are located in the middle of nowhere. And with college and university, you want to balance like fun with studies as well. But you don't want to go into like a ghost town in it. So yeah, when it comes to applying to the school, you have either an in-person application, online application on their website, or most people use Common App. So the Common App is just a website where you can browse, I believe it's like 1,000 schools plus, just a lot of schools of different, category in the US. They all have a list of their requirements, things that you need. If you need to write an essay, if you need to take the SATs, have a high GPA, all that good stuff. So I highly suggest that you go onto the Common App, create an account if it, prompts you to create an account and all that, and then start applying, just put a lot of time into studying these schools, getting together all the materials you need. And yeah, I know for me personally, I had kind of a rough experience when it came to applying with a lot of schools. Reason being, I took like a gap year or two. Yeah, about. So it was kind of hard because a lot of them were asking for things from the high school that I went to. And the high school, it was a private school, yeah, but it was kind of like a low-key private school type of thing. So it wasn't recognized by every single US university. So regardless, I had to go back to my high school, get a lot of the documents that, they had for me and all that, which took forever because a lot of the people weren't even there anymore. A lot of people got fired, left, or just dipped. Nobody knows where they are. So yeah, one thing I did notice on the applications for a lot of the schools for international students is a requirement for the English proficiency. Yeah, anyways. But yeah, a lot of requirements for that, meaning you just had to either write an English test or have some proof of writing, or just showing that you can speak English and understand the language, you know what I mean? So you'll probably need that. These days you probably need a COVID test or proof that you had the COVID test, or blood samples, whatever. So once you have all the documents that you need to apply to all those schools, you can go ahead and apply, submit, all that, press that button, you're good to go. Now you just wait.
A few moments later.
During this waiting process, you're gonna want to start applying for scholarships as well. Again, school is very expensive. It's no, secret to anyone. School is very expensive. The tuition in the US is one of the highest. There's usually scholarships for different demographics, sports, abilities, disabilities, everything. So you just browse, go on Google. I'll put a link below as well of a good scholarship site that I know. Where you can just browse through and just check what scholarships apply to you. And if it does, who's it gonna hurt, bro? Just apply. Just press that button and answer a couple little questions, write a little essay, whatever they ask for, and then you're good to go. However, just a little disclaimer, a lot of the scholarships these days, it's a bit harder, a lot more competition for one, and two, with Trump in office and all that crazy jazz. So they got a lot of restrictions when it comes to getting international students covered for like a full ride and stuff like that. But regardless, it's still possible. So now that you've applied for the scholarships as well as to the university itself, you're gonna also wanna apply for the student visa, which is also kind of a hard process. And I know this is gonna be a long process, long, complicated, a lot of interviews, a lot of faking it till you make it type of thing going on. But hey, it's gonna be worth it in the end, So you're gonna wanna go ahead and do that. And with a lot of these interviews, they kind of like go back and look at your history and just a bit about you. They might ask you to, come in and meet with the person face to face. It might be online, whatever it is, just to kind of make sure you're not crazy or, stuff like that. You're gonna come and like take over the US or anything wild like that, you know what I mean? So yeah, like I said, just do your research on the visas. I'll try to put a link in the description about like how to go about the process and, just whatever I can find that's a bit helpful that can help you guys, I'll put it down there below. But yeah, just make sure you get the visa that applies to you. The F1 is for students, M1 is for people who want to work and get a job and stuff like that. F1, M1, Heady 1, I don't know. But yeah, research. Oh, and before I forget, your passport. This you should already have. If you're thinking about going to the US, that should have been the first thing that you would have, thought about. Should have processed, I need a passport. So if you don't have a passport, go ahead and go through that process to apply for one, buy one, purchase one, whatever, do everything you need to do to get that done. And then from there, it'll be easier for you to travel. 3. So number 3, you're gonna wanna understand the money and cost that goes into studying in the US. And like I said before, it is one of the highest tuitions that you pay. A lot of people go into it with the mentality, oh, I'm not rich, I can't go study in the States. Wrong. You don't need to be rich, you just need to have like a good strategy. Plan ahead of time for sure, definitely. Like I said, scholarships are gonna be like your best friend. Just apply to as many scholarships. If you have leftover cash, hey, straight into your pocket, you know what I mean? Do sports. Sports is really big in the US. If you can run, if you can throw a ball, if you can bounce a ball, if you can, I don't know what other sports they got today, but hey, if you know how to play one sport, then apply, find scholarships for that sport, and then you're good to go. Another thing I feel like isn't talked about enough in these YouTube videos is keeping money in your pocket. You're gonna need to get a job. Let's just say you have a scholarship, it's only gonna cover your school tuition, school fees, stuff like that. It won't feed you. So to be fed, you still need to eat.
I can't eat, I'm broke.
Yeah, you're gonna need a job, dude. So you don't wanna apply to as many as you can. If you can, try to apply ahead of time. Sites like LinkedIn, Handshake, and Glassdoor, whatever other job sites they got these days. It's probably gonna be something very simple, very entry level. But yeah, something is better than nothing, especially when you're coming from overseas. For me personally, I had about 2 jobs minimum. But yeah, there was a point where I had 3 jobs to support myself. Yeah, it gets tough balancing everything, but when there's a will, there's a way. When you want to make it work, it works, The other route you can do is savings, Savings is definitely a route these days. You've been saving since you were, I don't know, unborn. Then you have like the best case scenario. You will just get there, be set, balling, you're living life, innit? Number 4, simply put, is just understanding what's changed in the US, especially with Trump in office now. And yeah, things are getting kind of crazy. Nonetheless, people are still getting to the US. You definitely have to understand that Trump has made it a lot harder for people to get in nowadays when they're, just deporting everyone and just sending everyone out of the state. But nonetheless, Africans are still getting in. People are still getting in everywhere. So yeah, hey, you'll be one of those lucky people. Personally, I believe that now is like the peak time that you want to get in. A lot of these schools starting in August, which is a bit different from most other universities, especially in Africa, where I believe we start in January. Yeah, so you're gonna want to take this prime time, this summertime, from now up until August to apply, to think ahead of time, to do whatever it is you need to do to get ready, get prepped, and go. Visas are still being issued, student applications are still open, universities still need students. Getting in is not the question, staying there is the biggest thing. So like I said, if you have a job, you're supporting yourself, your tuition's covered, you're not stressed out, you're not getting homesick or anything crazy like that. Personally, I've never been homesick, but yeah, once you've done all that, you'll be good to go. Boom. There you have it. There's your breakdown on how to study in the US if you're African. I hope this video has helped you at least 1%, a little bit. If it has, make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment, share with your mom, dad, brother, everybody, neighbor, whoever. I'll try to put a link in the description below on all the hell do you call them? Yeah, all the links that you need to apply to those scholarships, look at those schools, Common App, all that. Yeah, it'll be down there. So make sure you go down there. If you're in Africa and you have dreams or interest in studying in the US, go ahead and drop it below. Tell me about your story, where you're from, where you're coming from, where you plan on going, all that. Let's hear it. Otherwise, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed and hope to see you in the next one. Peace. So yeah, make sure you like, share, subscribe. I've said that already. Anyway, bye.
For myself to get money pass me.